So good afternoon, September the 15th, 2014. This is CISG114, Section 2, Web Technology. And today is the first class into the fourth week of the semester. So, and also the last week for learning contract number 1, inquiry-based learning. So let's get started. Welcome back, good morning to this class, CISG114, Section 2, Web Technology. And I hope you love this piece of very interesting computer music. Alright, so here we are. This is week number 4. Now take a look at this week's scheduled topic. We, in common module number 4, we're going to talk about information literacy and competency. It's going to be very important for your study. And this is day number 7, September the 15th, Monday. And we're going to meet one more time on September the 18th, Thursday. Then towards the end of this week, on the 20th of this month, you need to submit the artifacts for the learning contract number 1. I have already given you one more day, that is the 21st of this month, which is Sunday. So you can submit your work until 11:55 p.m. this Sunday. I see you wrote me some kind of coin. Okay, is it your coins here? All right. So here we go. So if you look at today's class, actually it should be day number 7. I'm sorry, I make a mistake here, but I'm going to correct that. Day number 7. We are interested in talking about the information literacy context. Information literacy is very important. It's about your ability to manage informations in the internet age for your specific purposes. We have the problem called information overload. Every day we have too much information bombarding us. How can we sort out the information for those we really need for our specific purposes, such as learning, project work, or even mission critical stuff? So we need to have this very important skill, and that's called information literacy skill. And the way we're going to introduce to you is to help you to discover what it is. Wow, it's very challenging. John Dewey, the teacher will say, okay, once said that true learning is actually a process of discovery guided by mentoring rather than the transmissions of knowledge. Okay, I hope that in a minute we're going to show you this video and you can start engaging yourself with that. But first of all, today we need to go to the teacher's message released yesterday. Now if you look at the teacher's message released yesterday, you can see that you are being paired. And I think this class, it's only a few students were yet to be paired up, okay? And I have not so far received any response from them. But anyway, we're going to just go on with this set of pairs. So far, we have set up a support network with me as your instructor. We have a learning center syllabus, we have the Buddha website, we have the external course support website, and you have your pairs, and by the end of this month, 2 pairs are going to be formed as one team. So you will also have a team. We call it informal study with the ISG. So get ready for your team pairs, okay? Try to engage with other pairs. And then I just sent out this very important table. It's a table to help remind you what you need to prepare to get your first learning contract done. All right. If you look at the first learning contract artifacts here, you will see that this is what is expected of you. All right. And I'm trying to put this into the perspective of a student who needs to submit something. So you can see that we have 6 items for you to submit. Item 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then descriptions of each item, the time and effort expected, the assessment rubric, very important. You need to use it to give yourself a grade first. And then the format, all right? So go through this to help remind you what you need to do in order to submit your work. It must be done by individual student as an individual submissions. And where are you going to submit this? Very simple. If you go back to the Moodle environment, immediately after week number 4, you can see that I've set up 6 different submission links. These are submission links. Okay, you come here to submit your work. For example, you've already done your journal, and you copy and paste the journal from the electronic journal here into your Microsoft Word document. You produce a Microsoft Word document for your online learning journal. You come here, you click here, and you click the links there, and you do a browse button. Okay, you do a browse button, you click a link here, and then you do a browse button at the end, and then you can capture your document and upload your document here, all right? So this particular link is going to be active until September 21st, 11:55. So beyond this time, even though I might allow you to submit something, you will be counted as late submissions, okay? And that is not encouraged. So here we go. So we have this table. I hope you can pay particular good attention here in order to get your first learning contract accomplished. So you have item number 1 is your learning journal. You have 4 weeks work behind you, including this week. And in each week, I expect that you did something on your reading list. You study each week's reading list. You know how many questions there. And on each week's reading list, you select 1 question as your explorations into the journals. And once you select that question, and you look at the information item under that question, you select 1 information item to start observing your related questions, and in the forms of notes, okay? And then you select only 1 week's work. That means 1 questions out of the 4 possible reading lists, and that will be the basis for coming up with your journals. Once you have already come up with your journals, O, observations, I, interpretations, and A, applications, you need to use the peer discussion forum to discuss the work with your learning partner. The peer discussion forum for week number 3 and week number 4, it's already there since the beginning of last week. So if there is no records or discussions detail there, your discussion record, even though you submit it here, will not be valid, okay? So the discussions record means you have done your peer-based discussions using the peer discussion forum set up for you in the week number 3 and week number 4 with your learning partner, and through that, you copy and paste the discussion details into a Microsoft Word document, and you submit the Microsoft Word document. Now remember, when you copy the discussion detail from the peer discussion forum, remember, you have the discussion question. Your learning partner has his or her discussion question. You must copy related discussion detail concerning your questions, okay? 2 set discussions questions there, okay? So this is very important, and definitely, automatically, your learning partner must copy the related discussions detail concerning his or her own chosen questions. And then you have the report. The report is basically a combination of 2 individuals' effort. You and your learning partner. Your contribution is based on the topic you chose. Your partner's contributions is based on the topic he or she chose. Now remember, the 2 topics, that means the 2 questions chosen by you and your learning partner must be different, okay? You could not choose the same question. That's why I say the report is based on the discussions of 2 topics. In your pair, 1 topic from each member. Study report writing guidelines, all right? So this is the report. And then after you finish writing the report, it's time for you to come back to a reflective learning process, writing a reflective block, summarize, or outline, you could say. Somebody would prefer to use the word summarize. Somebody might prefer the word outline, because it's the beginning of another process of learning. Summarize the learning from the topic you select for elaborated in the journal, discussion forum, final report. So this is the finest piece of work that you can produce for your topic. If you look at the item 1, 2, 3, 4, if you look at the assessment rubric, journal will give you only 4 points. Discussion forum will give you 12 points because there are 3 sub-criteria, and each criteria or sub-criteria give you 4 points, so it's 12 points. This report will give you 20 points because there are 5 different sub-criteria, and each sub-criteria earn you 4 points, so 20 points. And this block will be evaluated using the same methods as the report, again 20 points. So 20, 20, 12, 4, 16 plus 40, 56 points so far. And then you have the proposal. This is the easiest one. Okay, give you 4 points here, and you have the meeting minute. Only 1 is enough. 4 points, so 8 points. 56 plus 8, so it's 64 points. So learning contract number 1 with 6 items as artifacts to be submitted will earn you a gross score of a total of 64 points. And these 64 points will be converted into 10 semester points. You have 10 points for this learning contract in the semester's 100-point scale. Remember that. So it's a relatively low-risk taking learning process. So all of these are designed to measure to track learning activities throughout the 4 weeks, and particularly in the week number 3 and 4. All right. So it should not be that complicated, but it's a process. Now remember, I do not encourage you to write the journal using one selected topic and then discuss with your learning partner with a different topic. And then when you come to write the report, use yet another different topic. And when you come to write a blog, use yet another different topic. Now, I cannot stop you from doing this, but lecturally speaking, this is not encouraged. I mean, you should have concerted effort in exploring one topic throughout the learning contract period. Now, remember that. That's the reasons why I encourage you to do that. If you have stuck to one topic of your interest, you should have gone through writing the journal of the topic, discussing that topic with your learning partner, use the material obtained there to write a report for that topic, and come back to your refractive block with the same topic. Okay? So that is very reasonable. You're learning something. You're spending time to learn that particular something. Okay? I cannot stop you to choose one topic for journal, choose another topic for discussion topic, the third topic for report, and finally yet another topic for blog. Because you might have done all of this. It's okay, I will not say anything. But normally speaking, you are advised to demonstrate one topic, how that topic transformed under your efforts to learn something from it. Okay? So I think I stop here for reminding you this, and I've also given you some descriptions here to describe what is meant by doing a journal, discussion forum, the blog, all right, and also the branded learning activities for this week. So okay, now having said that, I think I have dealt with this. Let's go back to the topic of this week and today. That is day number 7 and 8, okay? Day number 7 and 8. So here we go. This is day number 7. Just want to correct them. Day number 8. So, on to the road of information literacy. Let's get started with your attention set, all right? I'll give you about 8 minutes time to learn something about information literacy. Now, pay attention. Here we go. You've just watched a very short video on helping you to understand the meaning of information literacy and one specific method to help you get acquire the skills in information literacy. So what I would like you to do at this point is to go to the public discussion forum for this week. And here I've already given you a very specific question. Okay, and I would like you to come to these questions and quick reply to furnish some of your responses on discover information literacy. Now share with us any thoughts that you have. Okay, it's a very systematic video which will help you understand information literacy per se, and also the way to do information literacy. Now, your thoughts on how and in what way this could be done for you. So in the meantime, I'm going to take attendance, all right? And you can also see, I'm going to see if there is any student who would like to share today. Let's see. Unfortunately, I do not have any response for this call for participations for today. So maybe we could save some time. but in the other class, we have 2 students. In afternoon's class, we have 5 students. So you should be able to do that, to start earning your class participation points here, to do some sharings in class, okay? All right, anyway, so make the best use of, I'll give you 5 minutes time to put down your thoughts in the social discussion forum for this week, to share your thoughts on what do you make of, discover information interesting, all right? So in the meantime, we're going to take attendance for today. So, Beatrice, thank you. Anne, thank you. Ken, thank you. And then Tim, thank you. Kudus, I need to learn. Cindy, thank you. Patty, thank you. Ray is not here today. Okay. Emily, thank you. So, Sipo, thank you. Selena, yes, thank you. Stanny, not here. All right. Margaret, thank you. Yu Ying, thank you. Chuck Tink, thank you. And then Wilson, thank you. Sue, yes, thank you. Kelvin Yu, thank you. And then Cici, thank you. Mavis, she's not here today. And then Vicky, thank you. And Kathy, thank you. And then Cindy, thank you. Julio, thank you. And then Jack, thank you. Choi Ho Yin, thank you. Janet, thank you. Anderson, he's not here today. Karim, not here today. Okay. So, Ivy, thank you. Any person whose name is not before? Okay. Now, let's give you time to give your feedback, all right? Now, during this time of 5 minutes of giving your feedback, you're free to talk with your learning partner, talk to anybody you want. You're free to walk around, so it's time for you to just relax with your thoughts, all right? So it's not that rigid. And of course, I also would like to provide yet another music for you. Loosen up a little bit. I like that. All right? 5 minutes time where you can type in your responses and give me something to lighten up the environment a little bit. Okay, now we got some responses from a number of students. Let's take a look at Beatrice's response. Now, what do you make of discover information literacy? Nowadays, everybody who have computer also know how to search the information. Is it true? But when you find some information, it's now to know that it's suitable for you, and when you discover that information is good and useful in the end, how do you combine the information with your opinion? So that is the ability we call information literacy. I think there is a lot of original thinkings there. Thank you very much. Yes, we need to learn how to combine, integrate our perspective into the information we discover. And CC, information literacy is a kind of skill that locating and using the information effectively and efficiently. With the rapid development of modern technology, information literacy is a prerequisite for participating effectively in an information society. And that's very interesting. You use the key term prerequisite, okay? We talk about digital divide that's a plus, and a lot of people do not consider this as important, all right? So, to use this, in this world, we have not of knowledge. We cannot learn it all from the books, and teachers cannot tell us all. So we have to discover it by ourselves, do the research, make a presentation, let it be our knowledge. Well, the original thinking is very good. That's the ability to turn something outside of our body into knowledge inside of us. Okay, Jeanette. Discover refers to define, inquire, search, collect, organize, verify, express, and reflect. Very good. You remember that meaning of discover is actually an acronym of a number of steps, okay? Action by step. Students should have the ability to discover while learning. Very important. If you do not have the freshness of discovery, surprises, it's very hard for us to get motivated. They should be able to locate, evaluate, organize, use, package, and present information. So, is it the best approach for us to learn? Best is yet to discover. Many people perhaps suggest similar approach, but this is one of the examples. Thank you very much anyway. Margaret, in my point of view, information literacy involves in our abilities to critically extract information data from intellect. Very interesting. Extract means to find something, to pull it out, and critically pull it out. It's a lot of thinking behind with effective sources. It also indicates the importance of our evaluations on the information collected in our applications. Very good, thank you very much, Margaret. We need to do a lot of filtering. And yes, can you do this again? Wow, that's very good. We have a lot of knowledge. We can't learn it all from the books. Is it the same? Okay. Anyway, can you do this again? Okay. Wow. You make an appearance. Okay, Jack. And we're now living in a century with abundant information, so we can acquire information into intellect very easily. The ability of discover is important for sure, but I think one of the most important skills is to filter those incorrect information. It's very important, and identify which information is true and useful. In other words, we need to think critically when we read or watch those informations, but not just simply copy and paste from a website. I believe it's exactly what is entailed in information literacy. And we're going to talk more about this ability to sort out the important from the trivial. So let's turn it one more time. Let's see. We got Cindy. Cindy said, discover information literacy. I think the most important thing is to find information by yourself and totally understand the information you find. That is a key. That is a catchy word. Sometimes it's very hard for us to totally, because it changes moment by moment, but it's very good. Finally, you must arrange your information to make yourself very clear to know what you mentioned about. So that's very important. Simple. I think discover information literacy is one kind of learning skill. Learning not only absorb them, how to share with each other is the final target of learning. Okay, and the discovery information literacy is the perfect way to learn. Wow, give it the perfect way. Find questions, search, answer, collect data, organize them and express them through others, exercise ability of thinking, search, organizing, expressing. That's very good. You know that it involves a number of steps, all right? So, Wilson, there have been too much information which we can find in the internet, and ensure getting the suitable information. IO, information literacy, becomes essential, which can help us during problem and searching information, during the process of discovering information. The use of critical thinking to verify them. Yes, this is very important, another very important topic. Critical thinking needs a lot of training and practice, all right? So Teddy, I think discover information literacy is quite an interesting idea. By using this method, we can sort information and find them with ease when we need. Yeah, may not be with ease, sometimes with a lot of efforts. However, I doubt that if we follow this method, it may cost too much time only on discovering information, to apply knowledge, etc. Well, like it or not, we're actually doing this every day, okay? Unknowing to it. Thus, it may be not so efficient as we expect. We see the whole learning process as one, okay? So, what could be done without going through this ourselves? Let's go back to the traditional listening of the teacher's point of view, and with Galileo getting it wrote about the 16th century, already given us a very interesting answer. In a minute we're going to review them. So let's come back here, all right? So information literacy, you know something about this. So now let's see. Integrating information literacy into courses. Information literacy in a nutshell. Okay, I think this one can help answer and supplement a lot of your understanding here.
When most people hear the phrase information literacy, they focus on the word literacy and assume that has to do with being able to read and write. In actuality, information literacy, sometimes called information fluency, focuses on an individual's relationship with the information available to them in their daily life. Information is abundant and in more formats than most people can utilize, and at some point we all suffer from information overload. Information literacy is critical in allowing individuals to skillfully and knowledgeably take advantage of this new environment in their personal, academic, and professional lives. In this tutorial, the basic concepts of information literacy will be explored, especially as they pertain to students in higher education. The term information literacy was coined in 1974 by Paul Zurkowski, who noted that those who were information literate were able to mold information sources in order to find solutions to problems. 15 years later, a definition was created that is still in use by many educators and academic organizations today. The ALA's Presidential Committee on Information Literacy distinguished those qualities that make one information literate, stating that a person must be able to recognize when information is needed and have the ability to locate, evaluate, and use effectively the needed information. Information literacy applies to everyone, both inside and outside academia. It is about learning the skills to understand and navigate this new information world encountered on a daily basis. If one can utilize these skills and effectively use information, they have fulfilled the primary goal of becoming lifelong learners. Those who have learned how to learn, who can always find the information needed for any task or decision at hand. Although it applies to everyone, information literacy will vary according to the individual. An undergrad will use very different skills from someone already in a career, or those skills used in one's personal life. We will look briefly at information literacy as it pertains to higher education. In 2000, the Association of College and Research Libraries developed a set of 5 standards, performance indicators, and outcomes to define the information literate student. These standards touch upon 5 major components of information literacy: need, access, evaluation, use, and ethics. The first standard focuses on determining the need for information and recognizing what types and how much information are required. This includes being being able to define the need, such as in a thesis statement. It's knowing what resources are available for the particular subject and choosing those that will be the most effective. This standard discusses recognizing the feasibility of conducting certain research while also coordinating a realistic timeline. The student should be willing to reevaluate and clarify their information needs throughout this process. The second standard focuses on accessing information. It may seem that students would be adept at this because of the abundance of information and easy-to-use search tools. However, this standard is really about getting the best information and not necessarily the most or fastest. Students must be aware of the research methods used in the particular subject field. They need to apply effective search strategies within appropriate tools to then access this information. Although there are always exceptions, it is important for them to try to use a variety of methods and systems instead of relying on a single research tool like Google, and they must be willing to refine their search strategies as needed. Finally, it is crucial that once found, students can manage these resources, being able to extract and organize the pertinent material so that it can be easily accessed while working on their final product. The third standard focuses on two types of evaluation. First, students need to evaluate sources to make sure they are legitimate and authoritative, especially in an environment where creating and distributing information can be done by practically anyone. It's also critical that students recognize bias, prejudice, deception, and manipulation within sources. Second, students need to evaluate the information within their source. This requires them to be able to understand the material, extract the main ideas, and know what parts would be best utilized in the final product. They should be able to take this information and synthesize it into their new ideas and concepts that can then be compared to prior knowledge, allowing them to test their ideas and theories. It is also important for students to investigate differing viewpoints. They need to be willing to discuss their findings and research with other individuals and practitioners. Finally, based on the information gathered, students need to evaluate their strategies to determine if modifications will be required to get better or more applicable resources. Standard 4 is about using this newly evaluated information to create a product such as a research paper. In general, this standard focuses on being able to cohesively and adeptly incorporate and utilize the new and prior information and effectively present it in a way that is understandable and clearly supports the main thesis. Finally, according to Standard 5, students need to be aware of the ethics of information. This does not mean students simply need to cite their sources to avoid plagiarism, although this is an important point. Students need to be aware of topics that can affect their research in daily life, such as privacy and security, copyright, intellectual freedom, fair use, censorship, and the freedom of speech. They must understand and follow the laws and regulations surrounding information. They then need to acknowledge information sources using appropriate documentation style and citing accurately and as needed. These standards may seem overwhelming to incorporate into a single course. However, the development of an information literate student takes place over their entire academic career and will continue long after. It is up to the instructor to decide what standards apply and should be taught within their course. Eventually, all the standards will come together. The information literate student is not the creation of any single individual. He or she has been molded by a wide variety of people, including professors and librarians. Please consult the Rice Library Information Literacy LibGuide. This guide will provide you with a full list of ACRL standards, performance indicators, and outcomes with corresponding sample activities. It also provides additional links and resources to make understanding and incorporating IELTS skills easier. Please ask the reference librarians at Rice Library about what you can do to make information literacy a more prevalent part of your classes.
So here we are. You watched the second video related to information literacy. All of the second one comes in a much more concise and lecture-based format. Now you know that there are 5 stages in the context of information literacy. You have a need, okay? A need for what? Informations. So then what do you do next? I have a need for informations. So I go to access the information. Where are you going to get access? Traditionally speaking, the library. We still use the library a lot, but our library today is quite different from the traditional library with a lot of electronic resources. Normally, the resources are not stored where the library is, stored and distributed around the world. So we have a need for informations. We need to access the informations, but are the informations we access really the informations we want? Not necessarily. We need to do evaluations. We need to evaluate the information we're accessing. We need to sort things out to make sure that we are getting information that are relevant to our purposes. So we have a need for information. We need to access the information. We need to evaluate the information to discover whether or not they are really what we want. So then, now as we have evaluated information, we know that this much information is what we want. We are going to use the information, use it where we need it. So we have a need, we access, we evaluate, and we use them. And when we use them, we must give credit to the source. And that is Navico standard. So we have to credit the source. Need, access, use, oh no, evaluate, use, and ethics, right? So these are very important information literacy in a nutshell. Now, I want to bring you back to reality. Normally when we talk about information literacy, we talk about it in a very context-free manner, that we need information literacy skills where we are today in the information age. But as a student, you know that, oh, this is a beautiful story. But when are you going to experience really? Is when you have something to do. By the end of this week, you need to submit the artifacts for your learning contract. Number one, you know that you need to select reading material, you need to do journals for it, you need to do discussions for your learning partner, then you need to write a report, then you need to come to the refractive Quran. Now, when we have to practice information literacy in the context of assignment, now we call it project information literacy, the PIL. So I'm going to guide you to a number of very useful videos on PIL. First of all, when you discover that you have a need for information, where do you go for that information?
It sounds so bad, but the first place I go for information is Wikipedia.
But I've had professors say you may not go to Wikipedia.
But I do anyways. Not cited, of course.
Me too. I don't care if it's peer-reviewed or not. I just want to figure something out that I know nothing about. I mean, nothing.
Give me what's what. I gotta know what it is before I can go ask someone else about it, or to find out about it. Just makes sense.
Wikipedia is awesome. It's got good English, no fluff, it's written like I can understand it. Gives me links to other stuff too. Takes me to the real stuff I need.
Sometimes when I get to the serious research, I think back and say, I thought Wikipedia said this though, but this source is disclaiming it here. That's when it gets interesting for me.
Yep, not that Wikipedia gives any real surefire evidence. Just makes me feel more comfortable, confident, ready to go on. Wikipedia is my first go-to place, but certainly not my last.
Okay. Ask yourself this very important question. Is Wikipedia where you want to go first? Look for something very specific in your research. What if your instructor said this is not the best place to go, and you're not supposed to use Wikipedia? And of course, 15 years ago when Wikipedia was just born, people do not trust that this is going to work, because compared to the Encyclopedia Britannica, which is a lot of authorities behind it, Wikipedia is a bunch of kids. They're just doing things together. And then, but today is different. We know that the model of writing on Wikipedia has already gained a lot of accuracy and participations of many people around the world. So today, we highly encourage that students should best use the Wikipedia to look for information first. And we know that by the model of operations from Wikipedia, that this Wikipedia requires any person who's going to write something on this must produce something that has already been published. That means at the end of each page of the Wikipedia information, you must be able to find quite a good number of references, okay? And these are valuable for preliminary research. So much for the Wikipedia in the context of project information literacy. Now the key issue is, we students know so well that we tend to procrastinate. That means we do not do things until the very last minute. So if I give you 10 days for an assignment normally, 8 days of the assignments are gone without much work being done. And students will do something only when they recognize they have something to submit. So before they submit something, they must produce something. So the purpose of doing this is not to learn something, but to produce something to satisfy the submissions requirement. Well, is it good? Well, a lot of us would like to encourage you to unlearn this habit, but you need to understand a lot of very interesting things are procrastinations in the context of project information literacy. So let's go.
Do I procrastinate? Sure I do. Sometimes I just get too overloaded with too much information coming at me. Learn this, write this, turn this in.
I don't need to wait until the last minute, but I work 2 different jobs and have so little time.
I know I can always find something online, even at the last minute.
I can't always be studying. I mean, college is about having some fun, even if it's only a little bit.
At 2 a.m. the night before it's due, when I've got all the stuff I need and I start writing like crazy, it just comes to me. That's when I'm creative.
Maybe I'll see something on the bus, a billboard, a newspaper, a book someone is reading, and it gives me an idea for my paper.
With all the work from other classes, I just prioritize what's due from week to week and go from there.
I wait and I wait for the professor to say something. Give me some more guidance about what they expect.
Sometimes I delay working on school stuff because, well, I'm just feeling lazy. Just too tired to do much of anything.
I do not know how much procrastination experience you personally possess, but normally, even we teachers sometimes procrastinate doing something, for example, grading the paper of students sometimes. And it's not a good experience when you have to rush things back to where you are. So, what do you think? Procrastinations. Are you going to procrastinate until this Saturday before you do your work to be submitted this Sunday? Alright? So what's the possible result if you procrastinate? Normally, the result is called frustrations. Students become frustrated when they delay doing something and only discover that if I could have a little bit more time to do it, so much better. Time is not enough, sir. Can you give us 2 more days to do something? This is a normal request from students.
What's frustrating about conducting research? It's when I type in keywords and I get a whole bunch of results, which sounds good, but so much of what's there is insanely irrelevant.
Just getting started on a research assignment is the most difficult part of the research process for me.
It's not knowing the right words to use when I search. Let's see, I'll call my topic this, so now, what does someone else call it who may have published something about it?
I always have trouble narrowing down a topic for the assignment.
Finding statistics is hard. You're looking for some specific statistics, then you have to go through a million articles, and then you may never find something you can use.
A lot of the time, it's a case of information overload. The more I know, the less I realize that I know. It can be kind of depressing.
I never can find that perfect source, the one I know I really want, so I eventually settle. I say this isn't perfect, it's not what I really wanted to write about, but it will work, so I'll go with it.
What's frustrating is when I look on the library shelves and I find some stuff, but it turns out to be 10 or 20 years old. Gee, that's hardly what can be called up to date. I can't use this stuff.
It's not so much doing the research part of the assignment that's difficult, it's actually writing the paper.
What's the research process supposed to be about anyway? Is there some right way I'm supposed to do it? I mean, I always feel like I've got to create some new system each time.
The frustrations, the limitations, they remind me we're still living in the early days of the internet. There's information out there that should be readily accessible that we assume is, and it is not though. That's just the way it is.
Where frustrations comes when we experience difficulty in getting something done. And one of the very common experience that is expressed by students is they need some more time to get something good. Okay, and they believe they are just on the brink of getting it, but we just cannot get it now, so we need some time. But what if they started a little bit earlier and planned ahead? And that is the lessons you need to learn studying next week when we embark on self-regulated learning. It's based on inquiry-based learning, that you have to experience that when you have to inquire about something, you need some time to go through the process. And the process is spelled out there. You need to select a topic, you need to find some information to look into, write your journal, that means you're note-taking, do your OIA, take that OIA to discuss with your learning partner, and obtain feedback from your learning partner. And when you got enough information that could be sought into your report, write your report. At the end of the report writing, go back and look at the process again from a refracted manner, write your personal blog about this, and that could be considered one specific stage of learning development based on a topic of interest. But in between, you have to do a lot of information literacy work. Look at informations, evaluate them, access them, look at information, evaluate them, access them, cite the resources, come back, filter out, and discuss. The cycle always comes into frames. So you need some kind of strategies to help. So that's why you need strategy when you do information literacy or any other research.
If you want to know the truth, by the time you get to college, no one says to you, well, this is the efficient way to do research. Find information. You do this on this day, and at this point. Then you have to come back to it later on. This saves time. You have to come up with some method to get through.
I start by figuring out what the question is. What does the professor want? Then I look up sources, I take some notes, then I write the paper. I pretty much have it down.
When I need some background and to get started on an assignment, Wikipedia is where I go.
I might ask an instructor about going in a certain direction. For me, this keeps the paper from going off on a different tangent. Who knows? Might lead to a better grade, too.
Depending on how big the paper is determines whether I need to go to the library or not. If I have 2 months, sure, I'll go to the library instead of relying on internet stuff.
Writing on a different topic may mean pulling from some different sources. Sometimes I have life experiences or examples I want to weave into the paper too.
Something's really tough to answer, like trying to think of the word to use or how to narrow something down. I might ask someone for help.
After I look at the course readings, then I simply look up the citations on JSTOR. It gets me through.
I see research as involving the same steps, the same sources, each time. I always say, if it works, then why change it?
I do not know what kind of strategies you're currently practicing to complete your first assignment, the learning contract #1. But definitely, the 6 items there, you need to finalize in order to submit it for your learning contract #1. What kind of strategies are you using? What kind of strategies do you and your learning partner questions I would like to hold you responsible for. Today, I've just given you a very concise picture of information literacy, which is not new to you, but must be presented to you from a perspective which could be acceptable to your current practice of learning. So we're going to meet again on Thursday, and hopefully we've got some students sign up who would like to share using 2 to 3 minutes of the class time to share with us your learning of the past several weeks or something which you've done for your learning project, learning contract number 1. So I have a couple more minutes left, about 8 minutes. So let's go back here. In the context of our work, let's see, right here. I would like to bring you back to this skill, okay? It's a very important skill. When you come up here to share with the whole class, you definitely need to sign up in the public discussion forum, and hopefully you can sign us up together by uploading your simple PowerPoint. So in doing something, it's your presentation time. You need to do your presentations. So let's hear a little bit about what presentation is all about.
You know, people often say, imagine the audience naked. But I think that's just a myth. I don't know if you gain confidence doing that, or just end up feeling more uncomfortable with yourself. You gain confidence by having confidence in yourself and what you're presenting. But even if you're not naturally extroverted or gregarious, don't worry. There are things you can do to make sure you stand up full of confidence and deliver a knockout presentation. You can have the highest IQ in the world, the sharpest wits, but your ability to present to an audience or a key figure is still a crucial skill. I presented to senior client executives, CEOs, and even a Prime Minister. It's the same process you go through regardless. From my point of view, it's all about confidence. You have to be confident and project confidence. Be relaxed, but most of all, be comfortable with the material you're presenting. The key to me is knowledge, knowing what you're going to say. If you know the subject you're presenting inside out, you can't be caught out. If you lose your way, you'll be able to find it really easily. You won't make mistakes and you'll talk naturally. That only really happens if you really truly know the subject. So, lesson 1 is SWOT up. Ask yourself why you're presenting. What does your audience want to get from your presentation? Now, stick rigidly to that aim. Keep your presentation structured and don't overload it with too much material. It just won't sink in. There's only so much people can take in one sitting. I remember a senior partner at Accenture telling me when I started that people remember 80% style and body language, essentially how you deliver a presentation. 20% is content. It's a tough lesson to learn, as you'd hope that people listen more than that. But the only way you can get people to even hear 20% of what you're saying is to be a confident presenter and have open body language. If you have impact and presence as a consultant, people will take on board what you have to say. Think of your presentation as a story. When you watch a film, you look forward to seeing the performance, the character, the plot, and key messages. You don't necessarily remember the film's whole script, but you either enjoy it and remember it for the best parts, or you don't. Those few facts, you're going to need to repeat them. Tell the audience what you're about to say, otherwise known as an introduction. Tell them the main bit of the presentation, and then remind them what you just told them, a concise conclusion. Use structure to help explain the layout of what you're going to say. Signposting your presentation like this helps to guide your audience through it. have to want to present. You can really spot genuine passion a mile away. If you have a passion for your subject matter and understand it thoroughly, you can present really easily. If you're less knowledgeable, there is no substitute for learning the material thoroughly. It comes back to a deep understanding of what you're presenting. Practice, practice, practice. I used to practice on my peers, friends, and colleagues. It was a real help in the early days. It's important to recreate the big day. Standing in front of a mirror isn't going to make you tense or put the pressure on. Make it a realistic scenario, book a room and invite some people who you know will comment on your presentation and challenge you. If you get that right, you'll get it right during the real thing. Some people find they need something to do with their hands. They tend to write note cards, and that's fine, but if you know your material, you should be able to glance at a slide and know what you need to say. As for nervous hands, try holding a pen or holding the podium if you have one. I tend to use hand gestures while talking. Being animated helps people sit up and take notice of what you're saying. Prepare for a presentation like you would for an exam, or a big sporting event. The hard work all gets done in advance during the practice. On the day, it should just run smoothly. If you're looking for a role model, watch Obama, Cameron, or Oprah Winfrey. Look how relaxed they are. They're all great presenters, and, politics aside, you get the impression that they can present on any subject matter and hold your attention. And here's something else to look for. Some of the best, most senior presenters speak far more slowly than less experienced presenters. They're even happy with moments of silence. Pauses can be really powerful. If you say something important, wait for what feels like an uncomfortable second, and then let it sink in. Finally, remember your audience wants to listen to you. They don't know whether you're nervous or not, and that's true for all clients. At the end of the day, we're all human. Learn, prepare, relax, and enjoy it.
So learn, prepare, relax, and enjoy. Okay? I'm going to see you again on Thursday, hopefully with a number of you coming up here to share with us. Have a wonderful day today, alright? Thank you very much for your contributions on today's party. Alright, see you on Thursday. If you have a question, you can stay behind us. Okay, that's it for today's CISG114 Section 2 Web Technology and Light, September the 15th, 2014. Until this Thursday, stay tuned.